Hello, welcome back to the last lesson in Authentiquity entitled Essential Vibration. Let's dive right in. So once we gain awareness and we start to see that what the status quo teaches us is not in alignment with our essential self, then we must do an inventory, and take out of us what was hidden or stuck and reevaluate what we want to put back in, okay? In the full course, The 8 Levels of Mind, there is a module called Spiritual Logistics that goes through an in-depth process on how to do this, but for now, we'll just share the summary of it, okay? But the main idea is the same, and that is that the schools of thought in the mainstream are teaching and setting horrible examples for people to follow and believe in. Some of the evidence of this is the destruction of our own habitats that takes place by our species all over this planet. You know, this should really give us a clue that we may not know what we're doing or heading in the right direction. Wouldn't you agree? There's no other species on this planet that destroys its own habitat. Just let that sink in. So, if we, if we look into this within the micro to the macro, meaning from the large to the small, we can see that we are taught to destroy our inner habitats as well because of what is prioritized in the collective, which is basically just providing the basic necessities of life. Do you see that? So we're destroying our inner habitat and our integrity, our dreams, all of that. The things that make us come alive, we're destroying in the name of just the basic necessities of life. So if what we're doing in the majority isn't sustainable or even common sense, then we need to use this blatant display of ignorance in the utmost ignorance possible to destroy your own habitat, to see that what we're taught makes about the same sense. You can now use this bigger picture understanding, maybe to face some of the resistance or fear of change, to neutralize the doubt about going against what you used to believe and what now seems natural from the amount of momentum behind them. Your essential vibration, which is the name of this lesson, is what you have created all versions of you from, as discussed in detail in this mini course, is what shows up in you as the feeling of I. This I is you, and it exists independent of anything else you stack on top of it. I'm beating this dead horse. The I is what's giving you this course. This whole time I've been giving you this course, I am identified as the I. Authentiquity offers many processes and understandings that will teach you this returning to I in detail, but for now I'll just introduce you to the truth of you. It is an essential vibration because all of life feels and knows I exist. This is your true identity, and this foundation never changes. This is why I can confidently say, earlier and now, that we can never actually become anything. It's just an I dreaming that it is something other than its essential I, and it's held together by laws and beliefs. Most identities were created to block out and avoid the pain that the I received early on from our families and society before we constructed an ego and its identities. We little by little learn through our traumas that being and expressing our natural energies that come from an essential existence, aka the I, we're going to be met with discipline and therefore pain. Your current identities now are deployed situationally and based on environment, ultimately to prevent some type of rejection and also to increase your survivability. So, like I said, the current identities now are deployed situationally, meaning, like I was saying earlier, we become certain versions of self to survive environments. And we're sacrificing our authenticity because we know that who we're interacting with is a fragile belief system that is held together by the mirror we become when we self-sacrifice. Should I say that again? No. But now we're stepping towards our authenticity, all right? And authenticity is mainly about staying as the I, which we know doesn't change, no matter what environment, situation we're in, because we understand that now we can be the cup that is overflowing. In the 8 levels of mind, I do selfish or self-ish, and I show one of the main misconceptions of our childhood teachings that are in the complete opposite of common sense. And so when we remain as the I, the true essence, okay, like I said, we little by little learn through our traumas that being and expressing our natural energies, we're going to be met with discipline and therefore pain. Your current identities now are deployed situationally. So our true essence is detached from our mind, and this awareness or consciousness shows up universally as that very feeling of I. So when I'm saying to you, live as the I, I'm showing you that it's actually the base functionality of your mind. Therefore, you don't have to do anything to be you. Do you see the benefit of that? Your true, the problem is now that we have learned that this I is too much. Your universal being, you've learned, is too much. That's why it's uncomfortable for us to experience uninterrupted moments of bliss. We get it randomly, and we have created what I call permission circuits. That's another thing I talk about in the 8 levels of mind. We have created permission circuits that act like a governor on a vehicle. If you know anything about a vehicle with a governor, it won't allow you to go past a certain speed. This is what we've done based on our belief systems and our limitations, because we were disciplined for expressing those as children. And even as adults in our workplaces, we know that we have to behave a certain way in order to receive more of this paper stuff or these numbers appearing in our bank account in order to survive. You know, it's been said the equivalent of a saber-toothed tiger or a bear attacking us or looking like it's going to attack us is the same as not making a paycheck, you know, current day. Our body experiences fight or flight. But anyway, let's stick with this. We will summarize what this mini course has taught you next, but I want to leave you with the last truth before we come to a close, as this is the last in this free mini course. If you want to master your mind, then you must find its source. The source of your mind is you, as discussed in detail in this free mini course, but not any of those versions that your mind has created on behalf of you. Do you know that now? You are always, and I talk about in detail in the community and in my courses, how choosing to play it safe actually is worse on the outcome. And if you're interested in that, let me know to dive into a deeper teaching as to why that's true. So you are always that I, the infinite I in its design. While you're here on planet Earth, from your birth until your death, you are always that I. It never changes. And all you do is dream on top of that I. So the I is invincible because it cannot change, and it's impervious to the universal law of change because it does not exist in the matrix. The I is the same as Neo, which the anagram is 1. Neo, spelled backwards, is 1, meaning I. One single entity that every single thing that has taken life on this planet knows. May not be self-aware to the point where it can have a conversation with you, but even the mosquito knows it's a mosquito. It's just doing mosquito-ness. So, if you want to master your mind, then go to your source, and therefore the source, and use the laws of this universe to establish higher awareness patterns of your truth until you start to embody these truths. One love. And I'm saying one love because I'm coming to you from a level of consciousness that understands that you and I are the same. Your I is no different than my I. It's our personalities we stack on top of it, which are mostly compensation programs from our discipline systems that are adding to our suffering. So this has been an explanation of your essential vibration, your essential nature, okay? And like I said, I discussed this in detail. This is a topic of returning to your true nature is what Authentiquity is all about, okay? So have no fear. Return to what you already are over and over again. Establish that repetition, and it won't be long until you feel more harmonious in your previous karmas and the life that you were creating as the versions of yourself you invented to keep yourself safe, okay? I'll see you in the next module, where we go through a summary of what we've learned and talk about various things that the community offers and what Authentiquity offers in general. Thank you. Hello. I'm Mike, talking to you on behalf of Authentiquity. I hope you've enjoyed this free mini course, Learn to Master Your Mind, because it is the single most important thing you can do if you're valuing your evolution and want to have more control over the reality you're creating. Now, that being said, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. I want to talk to you about the community that I've created, where it is going to be filled with a lot of like-minded people who are searching and looking for the same type of information and processes that Authentiquity has been offering, whether it be in group coaching, one-on-one coaching, being part of the community, having access to courses, weekly material I will be creating, and sharing. Like I said, if you have resonated with the information that's been shared here, which is a lot of value, it has been given to you for free, then please join the community. And like I said, you can look forward to weekly content, which is going to be of the same type of resonance that you experienced through this mini course. I also have what's called an awakening blueprint that you can download once you get into the community. And you will be looking forward to more courses. I'm also an author. I wrote a book about how to live a free dumb life, being smarter than the matrix system that we've choicelessly been put into. If these are things that you resonate with, and I would love to be your guide to guide you through your spiritual awakening or your identity crisis or just your desire from your heart that you know the life you've been living is limited and you are oh so much more. Okay? So join the community and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and I'll see you later. Thank you.